The psychological profile and life of Andrei Chikatilo. Andrei Romanovich Chikatilo is often regarded as one of the most disturbingly intelligent criminal offenders of the modern era. He was linked to a series of violent crimes against at least 52 women and children between 1978 and 1990, earning him grim nicknames such as the Butcher of Rostov and the Red Ripper. A childhood marked by scarcity and fear. Chikatilo was born on October 15, 1936, in the village of Yabluchna in the former Soviet Republic of Ukraine. His family lived in extreme poverty. His parents worked as farm laborers and had no stable home or income. They depended on a small patch of land behind their temporary hut, and food was always scarce. Chikatilo later claimed he never ate a full piece of bread until age 12, and his family often resorted to eating leaves and grass to survive. He suffered from hydrocephalus as a child, which caused chronic health issues and emotional distress. He said his mother often scolded or punished him for behaviors he could not control. At age 6, World War II reached his region. He witnessed acts of destruction, violence, and chaos committed by invading forces, events that deeply imprinted on his young mind. An intelligent but physically weak student. In school, starting in 1944, he was known for being hardworking and highly intelligent. He excelled at reading and memorization, impressing teachers despite his fragile physical condition. He frequently fainted due to malnutrition. Despite good grades, he failed to enter Moscow State University, a major blow to his pride. He later served in the military and then worked as a telephone technician in 1960. A brief romantic relationship ended painfully, causing him to attempt suicide. His mother discovered him in time to save him. Seeking a fresh start, he moved to a town near Rostov, hoping to escape gossip and rebuild his life. Marriage, teaching, and early signs of disturbance. Chikatilo married a woman named Faina in 1963, and they had 2 children. In 1971, he received a teaching certificate and began working at a school in Novosaktinsk, but colleagues soon noticed troubling behaviors. He frequently socialized with minors and crossed boundaries. Several incidents involved inappropriate touching or entering female dormitories without permission. He was repeatedly disciplined and eventually dismissed in 1974. The Descent. Psychological triggers. Before discussing the crimes, we must understand the psychological triggers researchers identified in his case. 1. Rejection. His lifelong struggle with rejection from women, society, and his peers created deep resentment and humiliation. 2. Long-term emotional suppression. Each harmful act seemed to temporarily relieve internal tension, but the relief faded quickly, creating a destructive cycle. 3. Soviet social conditions. Under the belief that there is no crime in the USSR, many early clues were ignored. Weak investigative structures allowed him to continue acting for 12 years. The first verified crime, 1978. In December 1978, Chikatilo targeted a 9-year-old girl named Yelena Zakotnova. He lured her to a small shed near a river, harmed her severely, and left her body in the water. A witness saw Yelena with a tall, thin, bespectacled man in a dark coat. But police arrested the wrong suspect, Alexander Kravchenko, who was later executed for a crime he did not commit. This tragic mistake gave Chikatilo the confidence to continue. Extending pattern, sanitized. From 1981 onward, he harmed multiple victims, teenagers, young women, and occasionally young boys, often near train stations or bus stops. His method involved gaining trust, offering help or directions, and luring them to isolated places. Once there, he inflicted extreme physical harm, often driven by psychological compulsions he could not control. His actions left communities terrified. By 1983, the Ministry of Internal Affairs assigned Lieutenant Colonel Mikhail Fetisov from Moscow to lead the investigation. Patrols were increased at stations and public areas. Still, the crimes continued. In 1984, Chikatilo was briefly detained for suspicious behavior, but due to insufficient evidence, he was released. Notable psychological patterns, safe descriptions. Experts noted several repeating traits. approaching victims with offers of help, money, directions, companionship, inflicting multiple severe injuries, suggesting loss of control, covering the victim's eyes. Due to a personal belief that eyes retain images, returning to crime scenes for emotional reinforcement. Rumors spread that he engaged in cannibalistic acts, but these reports are often exaggerated or misinterpreted for sensationalism. A 12-year span of violence. Between 1985 and 1987, he harmed at least 9 additional victims. Between 1988 and 1990, he harmed 19 more. By November 1990, police surveillance had intensified. On November 23, 1990, he was finally arrested at the Rostov Central Station. During interrogations, he admitted to harming 40 individuals, though official investigations confirmed at least 53 victims. Trial and conviction. His trial took place in April 1992 in Rostov. Security was extremely tight, as many citizens were outraged. After 1 week of testimony, he received 42 death sentences for murder and sexual assault. 2 years later, the sentence was carried out. Interestingly, while searching for him over the years, police uncovered more than 1,000 unrelated crimes, including 95 murders and 245 assault cases, highlighting how chaotic the Soviet investigative system had been. Why didn't he stop? Psychological explanation. According to criminal psychology, he likely had antisocial personality disorder, lacking empathy or guilt. He experienced paraphilic disorders, making his impulses escalate over time. He viewed harming others as the only way to feel powerful or significant. In court, sanitized. Even during his trial, standing behind bars with a shaved head, he appeared like an ordinary, mild-mannered schoolteacher, soft-spoken, calm, almost harmless in demeanor. He told the court, "I felt like I transformed into something uncontrollable." There was no genuine remorse in his. In the end, the story of Andrei Chikatilo is not just the story of a single individual. It is the story of how darkness can grow in the blind spots of a society unprepared to confront it. For more than a decade, he moved through crowds unnoticed, hidden behind the mask of an ordinary man. A husband, a father, a former teacher, and yet, beneath that mask existed a storm of impulses, resentment, and psychological fractures that no one around him could fully understand. His arrest in 1990 and the trial that followed finally exposed what had been unfolding in silence. But even then, Chikatilo showed little recognition of the pain he caused. He spoke about his actions with detachment, almost as if he were describing someone else. There was no apology, no guilt. Only the eerie calm of a man who had long accepted the path he walked. When the sentence was handed down, the courtroom did not celebrate. Instead, there was a heavy stillness, an awareness that justice, while necessary, could never erase the loss left behind. Families remained without their loved ones. A nation remained shaken by how long the truth had gone unnoticed. Chikatilo's story forces us to look deeper into the human mind. How much darkness can a person hide behind a polite smile? How many warnings do we ignore because someone seems normal? And how does a society fail to see what stands right in front of it? The legacy he leaves behind is not one of fear, but of awareness. A reminder that evil rarely announces itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it blends in. And sometimes it waits for the moment no one is watching.